everyone? It's Justin here again with REI at the Denver Flagship store. Here talking about climbing 14ers and the gear that we need to keep us safe and have an enjoyable time out there. We've talked before about our 10 essentials, kind of dove into 9 essentials. Right now this is our 10th one. This is going to be insulation, and we're going to talk about layering systems. Questions we get a lot here is, what do I wear on the mountain? What kind of stuff do I need? Should I hike in my jeans? Should I be climbing in cotton? To answer that question right off the bat, no. Do not climb in your jeans. Don't hike in cotton. As they say out there, cotton kills, because cotton will absorb moisture and take a long time to dry. Problems that happen there is that's how you can get hypothermia in cold conditions. That's also on your feet. That's how you get blisters really easily, and that's just how you have not a good time. So having synthetics, merino wool, different fabrics out there, it's very important to kind of figure out what's called your kit and figure out what system works great for you and stay away from those no-nos we talk about, like cotton and things like that. Also keep in mind, anything you do bring with you, you're going to have to carry, so you kind of want to limit to what's light but not skip on what you can and can't bring, because a lot of these might save your life in an emergency situation. So we started off talking a little bit about what's on my head and some sun protection. Sun, very, very important to protect yourself from those UV rays out here in Colorado. Again, we have some nice sunglasses, like to cover my eyes. Kind of if you're on glacier travel at all or a lot of snow areas, sometimes you like some side pieces on a glacier glasses, but these are fine most of the time as long as you have something with good UV protection on. So that's what I wear on my face. And then I do have my sun protection hat with vents on them. Again, sun protection, very, very important. I don't want those rays to come hitting me. Even if it's cloudy out, it's still very dangerous out here in Colorado. The higher you go up, the closer you are to that sun. So make sure you protect your head and your face, and always wear sunscreen. Another very useful piece of equipment that I always have with me, this is called a buff. What the buff does really well is it can be a hat, it can be a neck gaiter, it can be sun protection, wrap it around your ears. I've sometimes kind of draped this on the back of my hat and put this around my neck just to protect me when the sun's beating down, hitting you. I just love a nice light buff, and who doesn't love a good Colorado flag on their gear anyways, right there, since we do love our state here. And then I do add on some gloves, a light glove. You never know what happens at the summit. It could start off being 60, 70 degrees down at the base. When you get up top, it could be very cold, windy conditions. So I like things that have either windproof materials or some light fleece as well for when we get up there. Probably not gonna need your expedition mittens on most of the 14ers in the summertime, but as you get into winter stuff, it's a whole different world. But I always bring a pair of light gloves with me. And sometimes I'll bring a beanie hat, or you could use your buff as well. And what I love to do is I take my beanie, my buff, and my gloves if I'm not wearing them, and I just put them in a light stuff sack. Because what I like to do is if I need to grab them real quick in my backpack, I don't want to fumble around looking for everything. So I just like something where I know where it is, easy for me to get, and just something nice and light. So gloves, hat, buff, awesome things to have when you get out on the mountain. Moving on to what I'm wearing. I like synthetics or merino wools, no cotton shirts. This is what's called a base layer. What the base layer is going to do is it's going to wick away moisture. As you start sweating, even if you're not realizing it, your body is going to produce a lot of moisture. You need to spread that to the surface so it dries quick and doesn't suck all your body heat away if it does get windy or cold out, which, as we know here in Colorado, can happen at any moment on any mountain or any hike. So always being prepared with a light kind of shirt. Whether you like long sleeve, short sleeve, merino wool, synthetic, that's up to you, as long as we're staying away from that cotton, as we talked about before. So that's going to be your top base layer. On my bottoms, I'm wearing a synthetic or merino wool bottom. If you're somebody who runs very cold, we do carry, there are longer ones, they're base layer bottoms similar to like long underwear. But my legs usually are pretty hot, but that's just me. So I like having this quick dry material on my legs and my body, covered up with hiking pants. These are the hiking pants that I use. What I like about them is they're quick dry material, they're stretchy, so I can get a good range of motion if I am on any of those class 3 or class 4 climbs. Some nice stretch is always important. And again, that quick dry material, if water hits this, it's gonna beat up and roll off. It's not waterproof, but it's water resistant. So very important. You can also roll this specific pant up, or you can get a zip off pant. So if conditions change, you get hot, you can kind of fluctuate how your body temperature is. But I like having something like this with pockets to put some gear in if I need to. This to me is something I will live in, whether I'm backpacking, climbing, travel. I just like a good pair of pants. Questions we get asked a lot regarding pants is, what about leggings or yoga pants? A lot of people like to hike in them. Nothing wrong with that as long as it's not cotton. A lot of times those yoga pants though, they're gonna be more of a moisture wicker where they'll dry from the inside, but they don't repel light rain. So at that point, you're still gonna want to have a waterproof pant to go over those leggings or yoga pants. But as long as you feel comfortable and you're not wearing cotton, I say go for it. My next layer that I like to bring with me is, this is actually another long sleeve light base layer with a hood. I'm a big fan of this kind of layer because sun protection. It does have sun protection on it, and then what it's gonna do really well is it's gonna dry quick with the synthetic material. So if I am sweating from my first layer, it'll spread it out quicker and then dry. But I like a light hood. I'm a big fan of hoods, so I like to throw it on over just in case. And one little feature that I am a big fan of is I like thumb loops, so it can cover more of my hand for that sun protection. A lot of people think it's just for warmth, but no, it's about that sun at that point for me, protecting one of the most burned parts of your body, the back of your hand. So I like having one of these nice and light guys. This specific one, actually, it's nice to run into because it's got a little pocket in the back. So if I wanted to store quick access to like a gel or some sort of snack, I can grab it. I'm a big fan of something light like that to go over my base layer. Moving on in the layering system, I'm a fan of a light synthetic or a light fleece jacket. I like pullovers because they're cut some weight, but what I like about this kind of material is it's quick dry material as well. Not super bulky. This kind of piece, it'll just fit really nice in that layering system. Not going to be the best for wind block, but what I like is it breathes really well. As you're moving, your body's fluctuating through a lot of different kind of activities, so you're starting to generate some body heat. Even if you run cold, you'll start generating more heat quickly. So having a nice light layer like that that still breathes is very important. You could do a traditional fleece, they just don't dry as quick sometimes. So for me, I like to look for that technology that will be quick dry material. So I like having that light fleece or synthetic jacket that's going to dry quickly, something light but breathable at the same time. Moving on to one of my favorite pieces that I use on all my mountain endeavors is a light. This is called a Softshell. I'm a huge fan of soft shells because when you get into your waterproof fabrics and versus water resistant, your waterproof stuff doesn't breathe as well. So as I'm moving, again, I'm generating body heat. I need light wind, sun, and a little bit of maybe some rain protection. That's why I like these kind of jackets with hoods, because I can throw it on and it's nice and light, but it breathes really well. It's stretchy, so I can move as I'm hiking or making that quick move on that class 3 or class 4. It moves with my body. Really nice light piece as well too. That stuff's really small. So I'm a big fan of adding those together, and that's what I hike with most of the time. Then we kind of move on to things that I have in my pack that I may use, but a lot of them are mostly just in case when I get to the summit I might need it, or in really bad weather. So the first things we're talking about, I'm wearing most of the time as I'm hiking. I could take them off if it's really hot out, and kind of creating a layering system here. Moving on to more of your puffy jackets, this is going to be your options between a synthetic or a nice light down jacket. I bring these no matter if I'm doing a day hike to a 14er, I bring one of these with me on almost every trip, because you never know if it gets super cold, you need that insulation, or if you're in an emergency situation. These are super light but add a lot of warmth. So you could be on the summit of that mountain and all of a sudden a storm might hit and you need that warmth real quick. So I like to bring these with me and throw them over everything. They pack really small, stuff up, so really nice whether you like down or synthetic. Traditionally, question I get a lot is hood or no hood. That's all preference. I personally like a hood because I can throw it over, and if it's really cold, cinch it down. But that's just what I like to do. That's, you got to figure out what system works for you, as long as you're bringing something that provides insulation with you. Final piece to our kit is going to be your waterproof protection. I always like to bring a nice light waterproof jacket with me just in case. You might have to throw this on if you get caught in a storm or if it's very, very windy out. You don't have to go out and get like a big, giant, heavy ski jacket or anything like that. You don't want to be carrying that much weight. But something light like this might have some of these what's called pit zips. You can open up these zips here, and then that way you can breathe if you start getting hot. Really easy to do. I'm a big fan of those because waterproof stuff does not breathe very well, and so that's a very important thing to have with you. But I like to go light on my rain jacket. It's more of an emergency throw on just in case. Might add a little bit of warmth if you do get really cold. And it's just nice to have in your pack. And as you can see, this specific one's super light and nice, and I'm a big fan of stretch. So I like that stretch moves. Final thing I bring with me on some of the longer 14ers, or if I know there's bad weather, this is going to be your fully waterproof pant. Windproof, waterproof, nice and light. You throw these over your hiking pant. It does add layers of warmth as well, but I hope to not have to hike in this as much. I like hiking in my hiking pants. They're going to breathe a little bit more. I like having a nice, quick, dry pair of pants, but I will bring these with me on most trips if I know there's going to be bad weather, or if it's a longer trip, I'm going to be out for 15 miles, 20 miles. You never know. It's nice and light, and you can throw this in your pack, and you never know what the weather's going to be like here in Colorado. But the idea behind the system is just getting light, but still nice warmth, and things that work for you. So if you find that you have a nice big down jacket that you love to have with you, and that's your favorite piece of gear, bring that with you. Make sure you do have something. If it's better than not having anything, bring insulation. We will have a nice layering kit. If you get one big jacket, the problem at that point is you're stuck with one big jacket. And then as you're going from 60 degrees to 50 to 40 to 30 and getting really cold as you go up, you're gonna throw layers on, but it's better to have different pieces to add to that kit. And the beauty of this is you can use this for different activities as well, not just your 14ers. Hiking, backpacking, climbing, or just looking good out here in Colorado. All of these will fit all of those needs.